Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, turned 35 years old.
Yes.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
something very cool related to that, on PlayStation Plus for March, they released the Cowabunga collection.
Cool.
Have you heard of what this is?
I think so. Just like it's like all their games, kind of.
Right. So it's like the original arcade game is part of it, but like a lot of the early console games, like from Nintendo, that Nintendo game, the very first one that came out that was like ridiculously difficult.
Yeah.
That one's in it. I had to go back and replay it just to see if it was still a pain in the ass to play, and it totally is.
I think I remember the second one being a lot easier.
Yes. Well, yeah, because the second one was a NES port of the arcade game. Like, of course, dumbed down to 8-bit graphics or whatever. But yeah, that was kind of cool. I had to go back and play some of them because I'm like, oh man, this takes me back.
I know.
But yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I really want them to do like, I'm still holding out for like an original Eastman Laird adaptation, like the dark.
Oh, sure.
Not the campy comic book.
Right. Yeah.
80s cartoon.
That's what
Ninja
the movie
Turtles
did well, though. It was like
the first one, yes. Yeah, the first one did really good.
The first one was like it was going off the coattails of the '87 cartoon hit, and then it kind of did it
right.
And then it was also tonally it was a little dark, like the comics.
It was.
I felt like it really merged well.
It was a good mix of it, and then the direction they went for 2 and 3, I was kind of like, because
I didn't catch it at the time.
Of course, the popularity of the cartoon.
Yes.
A lot of people took their kids to see it, and then like they're cussing and like stabbing each other, and it's like, oh man, this is dark.
Yeah.
And then for 2 and 3, they went campy and goofy and all that. But
I liked 2 a lot more back then, but now it's like I like the first one the best.
I will say, of a lot of the movies I loved when I was a kid, that one has stood up very well.
Yeah, it's still pretty solid.
And yeah, I think even I'd love to see it like come back as a 4K remaster, or have it like get a theatrical re-release or something.
Oh yeah, give it time. It will happen. Yeah, Jim Henson's Creature Shop, which
still to this day does fantastic work.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you saw this or not. I was going to tag you in it because I thought it was hilarious and would make like an awesome horror movie.
Yeah.
But the puppetry models for the turtles from the second and third movies have like gone to auction, and they're all like
so creepy,
decayed, and look like they've got like teeth hanging out and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, this looks like something straight out of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Yeah. It's sad though. It's like, but they didn't. I don't think they built them to last.
They didn't. So. They used a lot of like. I mean, of course, I don't know what they use now for like Five Nights at Freddy's, for example.
Yeah.
But I know back then a lot of it was like chicken wire foam and like. Plastic.
It's amazing
basically.
What they can do. And I know there's like one shot you can see a dude like he's with April, I think Donatello.
He like goes like this, and you can see the character's mouth, or the actor's mouth.
I don't think I've ever seen it in motion. I've seen that still, but I'm sure it's there.
Well,
but it had to be done so well. I didn't even see it.
Then again, when it was out in VHS, and you went to pause anything, you'd get those bars across the screen, so you probably wouldn't see it.
Yeah, DVD or whatever, which I do have those copies.
Yeah,
great film. I remember when they announced they're making it. And it was like. Went from that to like waiting for it, and all of a sudden it was here. We saw it at Westwood 6. Remember Westwood 6?
Yeah,
that's where we saw it, and I liked it. Yeah, it was kind of scary for my age, but but it was definitely not the cartoon, and they didn't have a budget to do what the cartoon could do.
Right.
But Star Wars, they've done it recently. It's probably like the best things they've done since the new trilogy and all that takeover of Disney is they've gone back to puppetry a little bit. And I don't know if Henson's crew's on that or not. I should know that, but
I know they were involved for Yoda.
Okay.
In like Empire, and it might have been involved in Phantom Menace.
Sure.
Before he became CGI and like was flipping around and doing all that crazy shit.
But I've said this before, like if they could take use CG assist, but with the Creature Shop designs and the mechanics, and I'm sure it's even gotten better now, and for the actors especially. But man, if they could just recapture that magic, but give it a little oomph, kind of like RoboCop. If they give him like a little oomph, like he could run a little faster or something like that, but not like CG crazy fake, looking. I don't know. I still have to do something. I think to bring that back because there's something magical about that. Still, I
think so, and I would watch the original '90s Ninja Turtles 100 times over before I'd ever watch the Michael Bay ones again.
Yeah, their size was just so distracting, and their design, it was just like
they're
they fucking huge.
Everything of their facial movements and everything like that was just kind of like nightmare fuel.
Yeah,
almost. But
I mean, I think the good things that came out of it was each's personality was more present. Like it,
right.
everything has been kind of it's been a step, right? Whether it's a wobbly step or a step in the right direction, you need each of those phases to get you to where you're at now. I think that goes with everything.
Yeah.
Just like the last the animated movie that came out with, I liked it. There's some things about it I didn't like, but I think they're kind of getting in the right path, and I think they are working on a live action one. But until they do this, like be able to take the past, and just kind of bring it to the present, like I'm just still gonna along for that, you know. So I think someday we're gonna get that again.
I think we are too.
I hope so, but I mean, if it has to be fan made, I guess we'll just do it that way. But
and the thing is too, like it's so much more taxing on the actors and on the crew to do the puppetry.
Yeah,
but it's so much cheaper than doing CGI, and I think it looks 10 times better.
Yep, absolutely.
Like because there's actually like some mastery to that versus just copy paste click edit render
right.
You know?
And if you can see a dude's face, you can take that out with CG. Like you can use the artist for that.
Like, I mean you can use a nice little mix of it, you know, but
where everything bends and stuff, you can have elbows and legs exposed and just animate it over if you have to. But
I mean that's the thing that I've loved with like what Blumhouse does, or some of those production companies that don't really care about inflating the budget. Is they're not, number one, they're not doing everything on a green screen, and number two, they're making it look like a $1 million budget movie on a shoestring budget.
They're more creative.
They get a lot more creative with it, and I've always appreciated practical effects way more than I have CGI.
Yeah, because CG is used as a crutch. It's like, oh, don't worry, we'll take care of it in CG. Like so many sceneries you see in movies take you out because it's like it doesn't look right.
Well, and I even have to bring this up with you being a Star Trek fan, right? Yeah. Lately, I've been kind of getting into this rabbit hole of clips from Next Generation, and on those sets they used a model and they would just swivel the camera around it to make it look like it was flying through space and stuff, and then you go and you see like First Contact and that stuff where they're using like a CGI ship, and for whatever reason I think the old model and camera tricks look way better than CGI.
Oh, I do too, definitely.
So
some of that old effects are a lot more believable than this current and
I think CGI can enhance it to a degree.
Yeah.
But if you make it to where it's just like it's a blur of effects on the screen and you're like, what the fuck am I looking at? Then you kind of lose the magic of it.
Exactly.
That's kind of the, I don't know.
No, I get it.
To me, it's like pulling action figures out of your toy box and playing with them and stuff. Like they're not moving on their own and doing everything for you.
Right.
The fun in that is manipulating it yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like take CG and take your hands away from the figure and it's doing everything.
Yeah, like
something like that.
I originally thought this was a really cool idea until I brought it up to Jonah, and he reminded me how much I loved, physically taking the Transformers and moving them around as like a puzzle, trying to figure out how they transformed from car to robot.
Right, yeah.
And when they came out with that Optimus Prime that like transformed on its own, I was like, that's really cool. And then he was like, but half the fun is making him transform yourself. I'm like,
right.
God, you're right.
You still need that toy.
Yeah.
You can have the other thing too. That's cool because it actually does what you've seen in the cartoon. But yeah, it's like your connection's lost kind of because all you're doing is telling it to transform. And it's just like, oh, that's cool.
Like, okay, look at the time. I'm going to go play some Fortnite now.
Right.